now. Good. This is Blackchester. Blackchester Matters. Live on Odyssey as well. I didn't drop the link because, well, people will join it if they decide to. I probably won't notice if there's a chat. Or if there's even people there. It's just an option. I don't care. Just trying out the new stuff. And my video is at the mercy of a native camera because a cheap piece of shit, well, it wasn't that cheap, but it's a piece of shit camera. Fucked up, I don't know how. Maybe the dog bumped into the USB part too much or something. Actually, one time it did get pulled down off the, still, I mean, not even shockproof. It's not dog-proof, exuberant dog-proof. Tight corridor here when he starts running. Anyway, it's not a lack of discipline, it's just like instant psycho. Well, you throw the ball too far in here. You want to kind of do a little past the wall there, so it doesn't get. Anyway, a few things have been happening lately. I got a picture right there of me holding the official man card. Now, what does that mean, by the way? Well, I'm gonna mention something about something because it's kind of pleased to. Well, I was actually more hoping to see Code Monkey Season 2 on DVD, but the fact that G4 came back, a place that was riddled with savage and even sophomoric and politically incorrect edge case crap. I mean, that was like edge cases before YouTube had edge cases. I was like, that was when cable TV was still decent. And you even had Onion Sports Dome too and stuff like that. I mean, very funny shit. AOTS, Code Monkeys. I didn't really watch X-Play much, but that's become quite a bit of a thing. Because here they called it GT. They had a Canadian thing attached to it as well. But anyway, so this bimbo they hired to play, and I really mean she was hired to play this character. I don't know by whom or whatever, because I think the guy who started G4 did actually sincerely want to start something that he remembered too, and I'm not sure he actually intended it to become a situation where people go off on political tangents over obscure chats. Well, I'm not sure an actual chat was responded to or anything like that, but I'll get to that. This bimbo, I guess she's playing a truck stop dyke who fourth wave feminist. So I mean, look under her name and transsexual or something like that. Maybe you'll find some anti-TERF stuff that you can bring up, or I mean pro-TERF stuff or TERF stuff that you can bring up. Because usually when people bring up, and this was in their speech, usually when people bring up things like there are two types of groups of people who bring up this term, and it's objectifying women. Now, the objectification of women, okay, fine, on certain extremes it may exist, but not to push things too, there are just two types of people who use this term, objectifying women. moral majority level Christian fanatics, Christian conservatives even on some level, when regarding porn and things like that. Even probably the jokes Mun was part of and stuff like that. Sexist humor, I guess, probably count on that too. Well, it's not sexist, but it's humor regarding sexism, I guess, making fun of sexism even. Which is usually, making fun of sexism is actually kind of a better way to deal with it. But than this woman did. But, yeah. And the other group that does this are third and fourth wave feminists who hate hookers, they hate porn stars, they hate, what do they call them? Oh, yeah, I should know this. A relative of mine. Strippers. And they also despise transsexuals. Well, not personally despise them necessarily. At least the third waves don't. Fourth waves might actually be right in the hate zone. Because it's part of the man-hating thing. They still see them as men. Which technically male would be true, but I'll give them the trans women are women, just not female thing. That makes the most sense because, I mean, identification has some merit to it. I mean, it's not biological merit, but it certainly affects certain aspects of their personality, and I'll respect that. And it doesn't exactly turn me off. One-stop shop to a bisexual. Hot face, big dick. Of course, that's weird because I'm at top. Hey, press the meat or whatever. Okay, that's disgusting. Oh no, someone's gonna call me like Tim Pool and say, "Oh, I was listening to this with my son," and oh, thank you, anonymous driver on the way to work. I'll certainly change my language for you. That's like crap. Really? Bullshit. It's not family friendly. In my family, regular reading was the Truly Tasteless Joke book. That's family friendly to me. I see. I mean, when I was being born, my father was reading from the Truly Tasteless Joke book when my mother was in labor. That was Blanche Knott was my midwife, my mother's midwife. So what we have here, yeah, this woman's playing this truck stop dyke. Look at this, she's incredibly much more feminine than she thinks she's playing it. But, and she's not that ugly either. But, I mean, she basically went on a tangent, well, a pre-written tangent, and, okay, she was remembering her lines, and then, I don't know who the hell wrote it for her. Maybe it was Cecil trying to get points, I don't know. But the this whole thing really bothers me. You think like something would show up not being kotaku, and it just ends up being kotaku. Well, the woman ends up diminishing these women's abilities. Granted, I found Webb a bit shrill, and her accent was awful. And she had a very square jaw, like classic Superman square jaw. It's like, I mean, she had maybe a rocking body, I guess, but I mean, instead of the woman complaining about being called ugly, I mean, it makes her look weak and insecure, this whole speech, so it doesn't exactly help her. So she must be a hired actress in order to play this role of this this thing, because I mean, if she really believes that objectification shit, then she's probably a TERF. So look into that if you want. I don't care if you engage her or not. So I can't control anybody, but I don't, not to engage her, but just to, hashtag it or something if you find anything, just for lols in Minecraft. And I don't care. These people always live in glass houses, and they always throw stones, and I think it's just fine if the glass falls and cuts their head off. It's the way things work. I mean, that's what happened to a lot of people in the moral majority and stuff like that. They all get caught with gay hookers and stuff like that, and shit like that after preaching, "You are committing sin, my son." I wonder if that's recording too high. Well, anyway, pontificating from a high place can lead to long falls. It's very hard to survive a fall. Pardon the bush on my face, by the way. I'm not trying to, I mean, as you can see, there's no white streaks on the side, so I'm not trying to get into the cuck porn industry, but, oh man. Who from Dinder? But, it's a buzzing sound. Someone's phone has it. It's vibrating upstairs, I think. Bad to have perfect hearing. That's why I couldn't get elected for anything, because I hear too well. Anyway, what we have here is like, we have, whether it's an act or not, someone displaying a weak, insecure woman who's losing her mind over a few chats because people have an adversity to change. And I'm going to point out some history I remember from G4, and I've even been part of such asinine commentary on Twitter back in the day. I admit it. I didn't like change either. When Munn left, there was no one who really fit the bill. The closest thing was Underwood, which is exactly a nice point. Sasha Grey and Underwood. Not exactly your fourth-wave feminists or third-wave feminist favorite people. One was a hardcore porn star, and one was a Playboy centerfold. And a real lovely, bubbly creature she was. This woman has denigrated them immensely. She has also denigrated an Asian American. Mun was a terrific person. Her shoes were impossible to fill for anybody afterwards. And if you even saw commentary back then, you'd see some nasty, nasty things were said. Some nastier than others. Because people just didn't like the change, or, in fact, well, it's true. No one did fill those shoes properly, and the chemistry was failing, and eventually GQ bought up the network, and AOTS might have died anyway. Well, that's sad, right? I mean, it's what happens. People despise change. Even in the good era of Doctor Who, people lost their mind over each rehiring of a doctor. Even Baker had his retractors. Tom Baker, of course. I mean, I think even back then, I was a little late because I was watching that like 5 years later, maybe. So I was born when the Centaurans invaded. I was born in the area of the period where Centaurans, well, in between seasons actually, when just after that point where he leaves Leela and before the point he meets Romana. Anyway, May 29th, 1978. What one might call summer hiatus. Anyway, yeah, so, but here's the pro, and I might be very analytical about this, and about a lot of things, so if you keep up with this, thank you. If you keep patiently listening, thank you. I mean, it's easy to be savagely brutal about this whole thing, but, I mean, that there, right there, that man card was actually sold on that show. That man, the official man card was actually sold. Piera was pitching it. It was the funniest, well, not the funniest fucking thing, but it was very funny, and it had to be bought, right? You had to look for it. It's probably the few times I even saw something on a show that I bought. I think the Clinton backward running watch was the last thing before that. I'm not highly influenced by a sales pitch on a show, but the product kind of spoke for itself. And Pereira is a very funny fellow. Anyway, that piece of misogyny over there is, well, that's part of the G4 heritage. That's part of the G4 tradition. That's what Pereira even referred to as our problematic past. I mean, Pereira was basically hinting a warning, saying that we're hypocrites if we decide to say certain things and do certain things. I guess he might have seen something. Who knows? It was one of those early pre-shows where he said problematic past, as a reference to the glass house they live in. They all live in glass houses. You got to be careful with those things. And a brand synonymous with code monkeys and AOTS is not going to be a good bastion for woke. People still remember that stuff, man. People still remember it. Now, Sessler might know his stuff, but Sessler goes off and he even went after Massey, and Massey's liberal and a lot of shit. He's only Republican in name only. He's a libertarian. Of course, probably not too well liked either in many cases, but really, I mean, the only thing libertarians don't like is that woke obsession nature of things, not the general civil rights factor. Is that an alarm already? It's on Monday? You don't hear it? Good. This lab isn't designed for outside sound very much. Hey, book. My dog's over there. Anyway, yeah. So what you had there. Thing is, this is a very white, blonde woman, blue eyes. She was also next to two brown guys, and she was like, acting like she was the only person who could possibly be a victim in this situation. Like she won the Victim Olympics that day. Pure white feminism. Another hypocrisy in this speech. And the other hypocrisy is that she went after a dark Asian female as if she didn't deserve the job she had, as if she was just there for eye candy. She was just there for eye candy. I mean, you might be able to argue that they as a gag, they had Sasha Grey there as pornographic eye candy, you know, because of her past, or and present, I guess, at that time. And she's a pretty good-looking woman. She presented all right, I guess. Underhill too, I guess, because she had the Playboy model thing. But you know, Munn was really in. You could tell she was really into the humor, and she was very much a professional in the whole thing. And going after her like she's just some Playboy patter, she's she's uh, she's just there to wank off to. I mean, if people wanked off to every hot little toddy out there, they'd be there'd be people would be dying of their priapisms. It's like they wouldn't be able to stop. They'd be getting claws like this, and really, it just compulsive masturbation leaves your hand in a freaking claw. Something happens at the tendons, and it's nasty, nasty. That's what you get. That's exactly what you'd get if you end up with if you end up in that situation. It's just crazy. It's just crazy, and she's a darker skinned Asian American, I think Malaysian or something like that. So, she's Muslim. That woman's in deep trouble. I mean, man, Asian hate, Islamophobia. How could there be much more hypocritical statement ever witnessed? I mean, Kotaku's mouth must have been watering. Actually, they must be kicking themselves thinking, why haven't we thought of this? Why are we eating our own Why is it okay for a blonde Teutonic bimbo? Why is it okay for a blonde Teutonic bimbo to say that about an Asian American woman who's actually merited at her job? I mean, I've seen some. The reason I think she's an actress just playing a role, the reason for that is because I saw her involved in this whole discussion about Xbox versus PlayStation, and she didn't. She looked like she was without a script and lost. Now it could be because which means she doesn't really have any huge passion. She doesn't have any huge passions for gaming at all, from what I saw. I mean, maybe she just has passions for gaming and no passions for gaming but feminism, but somehow I doubt that. Somehow I doubt it. Sessler, when he gets into the game talk, he does know his shit. He's a witless idiot on Twitter, but he's, especially since he just goes after these cheap partisan things like that. The woman does too, or had done too. It's like it seems like a lot of LARPing, really, for people who don't really deep dive into politics. They just know it's popular to say Republicans are stupid. I mean, yeah, I could say that too. I'm a libertarian. I'm not fond of lots of stuff Trump did. And, I mean, I get Operation Lightspeed, the omnibus spending bill. Wait a minute, why does Sessler dislike this guy? Is Sessler against unreasonable spending? Because that's cool. That's cool. Is he against Operation Lightspeed and the vaccine? I'm cool with that. Is he against? Is he pro-war? Do you want Syria to burn more? Do you want Iran to get that bomb on them? Because the only good thing Trump did was undo the bad thing he did in firing Bolton and an emergency in an emergency, ending the impending World War III bombing, which I swear Bolton was ready for World War III. There were, who the hell attacks a place surrounded by mountains like that? It's ridiculous. It's like the last stage in a Dragon Quest thing. You know, to ride the dragon or something in there, or the blimp or whatever mode of travel you get at the end of the game. And you think, oh my god, how could this only now? I mean, there's nothing. Although they usually put some special islands to find too that have other shit on them. But anyway, I love Dragon Quest. Anyway, that's my perspective on this shit. Don't especially want to get too much involved in that shit, but I really dug that G4 shit. That was especially AOTS and Code Monkeys. So. Code Monkeys was a fucking great cartoon. Duckman is the only cartoon probably better than Code Monkeys. And I guess third would be either Squidbillies or South Park. I think that's a bit of a tie. Although, given what they did to the early Kyler at the end, I guess maybe South Park edges out into the third place. Because that was one abominable voice transition. And they fired the guy playing early Kyler. Why? Because he, as a redneck vampire, that's his character, he said something rednecked. He was in fucking character. In fucking character. How can he be punished for doing his comedic bit? It's just ridiculous. It's like Squidbillies isn't exactly innocent of any anti-woke bullshit. I mean, they had the sheriff there talking about how great whites are. Hi there. You know that Larry Bird? Did I pick Larry Bird's right? It's not confusing with the Senator Bird, am I? No, I think Larry Bird is the basketball. He created the signature slam dunk. Shit like that, man. It was like nothing but look up Squidbillies Chalky Trouble, and it's chalk with a Y at the end of it. So yeah, that's political correctness has gone crazy. I mean, political correctness, I'm not sure it's exactly the same as this whole needle shit, but maybe this whole vax is the new heroin type crap is becoming the part of that cult Bible they're building up. But I don't know how, because I mean, it's attacking minorities more than anything. Hell, even my female ancestry goes back to a black woman, and I don't like the idea. It is true. My female IMT DNA goes all the way back to Cheddar Man. This mummy they found in England, of all places. They got U4A, there's your purity test for if they're one of you or not. Yeah, and they never treated me like I was one of them. In fact, in high school, it was minorities treat me well, and it was even ESL whites and stuff like that. I always got shit from crap from Whitey. So maybe people see that shit in you. I don't know. And Mudjar, being a Mudjar too, came from Asia originally. It's funny, my outfit, I wear this in the summer, right? Only white people ask me, is it hot? Everyone else, they, they say they like it. They like the outfit. They say they like the outfit. Well, white guys, same with the hair. You never see, only white people have asked, who have actually remarked about my hair. I mean, they were saying something about that being some sort of racist culture, and maybe there's something to the hair thing. But I think it's a curiosity. I don't think it's racism. I think it's more like congenital paleontology or something like that. Congenital paleontology. That makes sense. It's just not like negative because I don't know, some chick once stopped and asked me if I put what cream rinse I used. I don't use cream rinse. She was amazed I didn't use cream rinse. I don't have to. You got beautiful curls naturally and stuff like that. Lose a little straighter when it's longer because of the gravity, of course. But well, anyway, enough about my hair. My gay side is just constantly doing stuff with my hair without me doing it. It's just natural. Gay, natural. Right-wingers losing their fucking mind right now. So you can laugh about this stuff. You don't have to freak out and chastise people because they believe stuff. You can just make fun of their beliefs. Make it just have fun, you know? Do it with a smile on your face, not smashing your fist on the... God damn it. I'm a Hungarian, and I'm a Magyar, and I'm saying relax. Isn't that just sick? But, I'm surprised no one asked. Couldn't they get a black woman to do that woman's job in X-Play? I'm just so surprised they didn't do that. You got Venti to do it or something. She's at least respected by gamers. And she hasn't... Mostly she's actually one channel that hasn't done Raid Shadow Legends. Oh, yeah, that's a praise Raid Shadow Legends. There goes your cred as a gamer. Jesus Christ. I think I'm gonna miss playing Skyward Sword time. I should probably get my boot from my other Switch. I lost to a bloated battery. Maybe because of the heat wave. I don't know. But a lot of my cell phones have been... I got this older Nokia, older than my last phone, because the bloated battery destroyed it too. And I wasn't going to buy another fucking Motorola or a Samsung, because both of those failed me, including the companies. After the battery failure, oh, there goes my fire. Because of this camera angle, the fireside's fact is kind of ruined anyway. And kind of hard to hear it on the audio, I imagine. So, yeah, I mean, that's that for you. But, they told me my Spawn Compendium was coming last Wednesday, and it still hasn't arrived. It's the first time ever Amazon ever got anything late. Volume 2 I was really looking forward to Volume 2. The next 50 episode... 50... Anyway, So yeah, what do we have going on? Well, the jab stuff, and well, in BC we got some strange habit of the Ministry of Health, where I don't know if it's like that anywhere else, where they just spin a wheel or pull something out of the hat, or just roll the dice and decide what sort of policy they're going to have. So we never know what the hell they're going to do. Adrian Dix is a psycho who just likes to see people freak out and see what he can do. Just randomly throwing shit out there, like shooting in the ground, making you dance. Fucking asshole. And I think they're going to roll out a new flavor of popsicles so they can hand them out at injection areas, jab distribution areas, and it'll be flavored after boots. So that should be fun. Get a free boot lollipop with every injection. People will be rushing there for that booster. They had to know enough of a amount of the population would despise obeying the government's rules, to the point where they'd realize that maybe they would have gotten more out of it if they just suggested it as a good idea and accepted the result. They might have gotten even more libertarians to do it. I mean, this area I got maybe, was it 4% of the vote? It was quite huge for a libertarian, and those are the people who knew I existed. That was in a traditionally socialist. Well, traditionally the socialist wins on brand recognition alone, but it's largely because no one ever sends enough money to this constituency to really get anyone to win. Other than the one thing that's usually there is the thing that usually stays. I don't know. I think I could still probably do worse in Kwan, but it's like she really stood up for foreign reporters, suddenly deciding that. But there is a nice quote there, but saying that if you trust them, if you believe you're right, you don't have nothing to fear of anyone, something like that. She said something rather Jeffersonian, which was weird. Like, I almost thought she was going to change teams and, sign up for our party. It's like, whoa. Did your boss approve that comment? It's weird that she says anything that isn't on a party handout. Anyway, it's I find it probably best if I do check if there's a fucking chat going on or something like that. I did actually hit the record button on. Let's see if I can see myself here. Oh yes, there it is. Anyway, it's live yet. Right. I find it not expecting it that much. Check if there's a fucking chat going on or something. Going along with the whole idea of doing this, testing it out. Seems to be some lag because this camera is ACES. Did you actually hit the record button on the standard ACES thing? Let's see if I can see myself here. Oh yes, there it is. Anyway, check out Orbis. It's by the way, it's a good social media thing. I find it not expecting it that much. Check if there's a fucking chat going on. It's administered along with the whole Chicano and founded by an Irishman. Irish American. Seems to be some lag because this camera is, and actually hit the updates are done in half in Spanish. Standard ACES thing. So see if I can see. You can get some of your woke stuff up. Anyway, yeah, and it's they didn't ban any anti-Trump statements. In fact, he was rather livid, not expecting Trumpers, the administrator, that someone was flagged with anti-Trump and founded by an that's not really probably even easy to admit that happened. And actually hit the updates are done in half in Spanish. Standard ACES thing. So see if I can see. You can get some of your woke stuff up. Anyway, yeah, and it's they didn't ban any anti-Trump statements. In fact, he was rather livid, not expecting Trumpers, the administrator, that someone was. Okay, I hope that doesn't. Try Orbis.net anyway. It's a good social network. Tell your friends. It's like old Facebook now, but they're working on some new front end, I think, or something like that. It's got some functionality from live video and stuff like that, but you can also upload videos and stuff like that. All the stuff. It's feature rich like Gab and Minds, but it's got a familiar look to it, I guess. People who complain about Minds interface, I guess, might like that, but I encourage people to be on Minds Plus as well too. But like this video is when they see this. Anyway, it's too bad there isn't a live stream through Minds Plus either. Can't have it all work like the same way, can you? But anyway, we have a rocky road. I mean, it's crazy. A McDonald's charity is denying a sick kid their ability to stay because of vaccination, where kids are even less likely to die of something like that. I mean, even with comorbidities, it's less likely. It's crazy, man. CDC is under attack for fat shaming. The CDC was too soft about it. This chick was pissed off because the MRI machine was too small for her. And I'm thinking, you know, that's already enough of medical tests to suggest you need to fucking shape up. You know, there's a certain point where you probably should, even as a doctor, say, listen, fat fuck, get a treadmill. There's no real reason to, I mean, fat shaming because obesity makes you more likely to die of this thing. Oh, I mean, God, it's not the pandemic of the unvaxxed, it's the pandemic of the blubber. I mean, really. They should worry less about the vaccination and worry more about the treadmill. Worry more about taking a long walk and eating properly. You don't have to supersize every day, baby. No, Jesus. Now you're full within your rights, but damn well, no one should have to pay for that fucking. Certainly shouldn't pay for a new MRI machine to satisfy you if you can't fit in one. That is huge. I mean, some people are considered overweight that have fit in a damn MRI machine. What kind of shamu can't? Oh man, that is so. How do people let themselves get into that? How do people get into such a nasty situation with their bodies and stuff? Don't know. I used to be a teeth grinder, but I couldn't help that. Something that part of the PTSD and stuff. Anyway, so Wasn't very nice to the teeth. Neither were nuts, I found out. The tooth that broke off on the back. Pulled an old nut fragment out of it, and I used to brush a lot. Still ended up with, I think nuts actually decompose in their mouth more and they stick in longer. Even dental hygienists couldn't pull those things out sometimes. And do more harm to your teeth than sugar would ever do. I'm not sure it's quite the, it's looking like it's low in power. Anyway, what else is there? What else is there? People spending like crazy, printing money, people getting banned. Yeah, there's a guy, an Irishman. He's banned from PayPal. Can't remember his name all of a sudden. And a lot of these other things. It's really part of the central bank problem. The fact is, central banks control all these financial institutions, banks. They control the credit system. They control the... They basically tell who can lend money, who can't lend money, who can be a payment processor, who can't be a payment processor. So the very likelihood, if people are getting sacked or banned from PayPal or anything like that, I'm guessing the central bank is pulling strings to do it. Wherever your respective central bank or Federal Reserve is, that is likely the culprit behind the ban. Granted, you don't necessarily have to do what they're told in that sense. However, with all these institutions being public, controlling something that's private, technically speaking, those aren't private, and therefore they are under the rules of such constitutional laws that protect free speech and freedom of assembly and all those other things. And they can't do this stuff. Not as a public company through the SEC, or not as a banking institution involved in banking that works through the central banks and the Federal Reserve and shit like that. So all these people, so there's a huge violation involved. Be interesting under FOIA, the Reserve or any of the central banking institutions, and find out what sort of decisions they've made about the banning and debanking of people and stuff like that. Because it's possible that plays a huge role in it. Especially if more than 4 people watch your videos. Cullen. Cullen. That's it. Yeah, Dave Cullen. Computing Forever. Not bad. He's on Gab TV and Odyssey as well. I'm on all those platforms, all those new tech well, I'm not on Super U, but I'm on Rumble, I'm on Odyssey. Odyssey is a preferred, Float as well, Minds Plus. Those are preferred places to watch it. I am titling this based on the just tested on YouTube for a while. For at least for a while, it will be on a searchable option. Then I'm going to make it unlisted, so they can't just drop an ad on it and say I can't be monetized at the same time. They won't advertise it if you don't put it on the search engine. That's that, huh? I'm running for mayor of Vancouver again. Got the Vancouver flag up there. That's the one with the squiggly blue lines. Next to the Don't Tread on Me, the Gadsden. I got a folder of Gadsden to do. I forget to take it to events sometimes. There's always somebody with one, though. I'd rather raise my city's flag than Canada. Oh, fuck, I hate this shit. I mean, let's say something about this whole thing about these vaccine passports and stuff. I refused to show my ID at a strip club and at a Doug Stanhope show. I had the ticket in hand. I refused to do that because they were working with the police, and that's the reason why they're checking the IDs. I mean, at my height and my facial hair, you can't just think I'm a 2-year-old kid. So, but I know they do deal with the cops to take IDs and take records in order for the cops to get it. That's not right. That's also a violation of the Privacy Act, much like this vaccine passport is. They can't take anything personal without your consent. And that has to include coercing it. It has to. Maybe they can coerce and torture you and so on out of it. What the hell is the point in having those protections? Pardon the belching. Anyway, so that's a problem. And I don't have a passport in general. So I mean, it really screwed up my comedy plans. And George Bush passed the Patriot Act and said, we needed passports at the Canadian border. So this whole vax bullshit is beyond what I was after. I was against the Patriot Act shit too at the border. I don't want any of this. I was against forced medical treatment before COVID happened. I was fighting the psychiatric system in that area. I was against our own Mental Health Act, which got worse than when I was brutalized and hidden away, attempted to hide me away in a ward. Because they can't bust your leg, innocent of any crime, and bring you into court. It just looks bad. Man, I wish I did get taken to court. But, yeah, so on no certain terms is my opposition to this new. Opposition to any of this new. This whole papers, please shit. For any reason. And I don't even like the fact they call any private, especially solely owned business, an essential service. A capitalist institution. When I say capitalist, I mean mom and pop businesses. I mean solely owned businesses. Not publicly traded stuff. I mean individually owned. I mean, like corner stores and restaurants and stuff like that, with limited investors at the very least. Things like that. Those are essential. The private sector is essential. I mean the totally private sector. I don't consider Pfizer private sector because they're getting government benefits as an institution. They're getting corporate welfare in this whole trial. Pfizer's like the car companies and the banks and stuff like that. They're getting funded, bailed out, and getting... I'll just look at corporations and government as friends with benefits. And the benefits is our ass. The benefits are our ass. And it's time people look at this stuff as not about medical procedures and stuff like that. It's about mandates. It's about oppression, fascistic oppression. It's about, I mean, why would you, I don't know why people side with the corpocracy or the conglomerates and their government buddies colluding. I don't know. It seems crazy that certain people are out there licking those boots. And possibly getting a nice little popsicle on the boot-flavored popsicle when they finish getting their booster shot. Booster shots. I feel very little pity for people who suddenly had their nightclubs shut down, and all the people who didn't fight and follow the rules and had their business cut off. I'm happy they're the one that joined the fight against this stuff. Maybe if they admit they learned their lesson, they were wrong, fine. But I hate saying "I told you so," and I get forced into it all the time. It's the thing I hate being forced to do the most of all, is saying "I told you so." Alright. And the provincial federal governments won't confirm they've evaluated successive lockdown policies. And they haven't really. Although Theresa Tam did recently admit that they weren't working. But they're still there. They weren't working on the disease, unless you consider the disease government authority. In that case, the perpetuation of government authority has successfully grown. And that, my dear friend, is a suggestion that, well, it goes to show you. It goes to show you that they are bastards. Virginia Governor Youngkin's first day signs executive order banning CRT and investigating Loudoun County officials. Oh yeah, this is another thing that pissed me off. Conservatives are suckers. Well, people can identify as conservative. Conservative really means you like the status quo and you want to conserve something. Constitutional conservative is a different thing. That's at least the supporting of a constitutional document with rights attached. And the enforcement is such a thing. Conserving the Constitution is a good idea, in the United States anyway. But generally means that supporting the status quo. So, like, we're not going to change it if it's going to happen. But this guy is still changing something, though. But here's the thing. He's maintaining the state school system. He's not you know what Clinton said? Mend it, don't end it. And that was about affirmative action. But basically, these conservatives, these right-leaning people, seem to be actively supporting this public school system when they're in power. Who would have thunk it? Should have voted for a libertarian or try to get a libertarian candidate going against Yorkin and that other and McAuliffe. When fought for school choice, fought against the state school brainwashing institution. It's crazy. I think cops only stopped you for non-criminal violations and traffic situations. I get the ending of random checks. That was stupid. But if you're swerving in the road, that's not. I'm not sure if it's necessarily criminal. I think they'll still give you a ticket for that. Maybe it should be, but it's I don't know. If it's a ticket thing, then maybe you end up not enforcing the traffic rules. I don't know, maybe that'll make things better too. Who knows? Build more roundabouts. So here's the thing. I mean, if someone wants to send their kid to a CRT school, I know it's crazy, but if someone does, they should be able to. If someone wants to send their kid to something that doesn't teach that, they should be able to. And they should be able to, and the money should follow the child. It should not be. It should not be going to these bureaucrats and these filtered down into, under a collapsing school system that's just there to teach your kid to obey and do as they're told, and work in assembly lines all their life and shit like that. Just be good little grunts. Obey, obey, obey. And just basically keeps everyone's kids away from the rich people's kids so they don't have to mingle. Old money can be supreme. But they'll end up just keep teaching people stuff you don't want if you don't have any control over what you want taught to your kid. And conservatives have done nothing but fail in the area of school choice. They've had nothing but chances of power, and they've never properly applied school choice anywhere. There are some experiments in New York, and the experiments did work, but it would work better if they took that success and spread it out more. But Sotomayor talking about. Is there anyone ever think there was some problem with the Supreme Court discussing? What the last thing I'll say? I think there's something wrong with the Supreme Court talking about efficacy and all these other things about the vaccines and the masks and stuff like that. And talking about all those health issues and not talk about the law, the Constitution. They're not there to be doctors. They're not there to be any of that shit. They're there to enforce the Constitution. It's crazy shit, man. Crazy. They should, well, let's, well, that's it. I think that's it for now. got a shirt. And I'll just leave it on that. Stop recording.